Okay, so I am sketch drawing a gorilla and a shaving razor today. I'm going to have fun with this one. Okay, so I'm taking something that I used from one of my own videos. Okay. Oh my goodness, I made a great big nose. Okay, so apparently right here is where I've got the razor in at. I'm hoping that it will pick this up as a razor. Nice. Okay, that wasn't too bad right there. Okay. I'm here if you guys have any questions. Um, I might not see your questions right away because I'm drawing. Boy, this gorilla looks like it's taken a lot of steroids here, doesn't it? Okay. Well, that's pretty darn good right there. If I don't say so myself, I did pretty darn good right here. Okay. I really did really good, actually. Oh my goodness. I'm proud of myself. Um, I did a pretty darn good sketch drawing here before anybody even joined me of a gorilla and a razor. So I made a shaving razor of the gorilla, and I am just hoping so much that when I take a picture of this and put it into my AI, that it will separate the razor from the gorilla and it will shave. I'm hoping it will do that. Um, okay, well, maybe I should use my and so I'm just going to do a line art is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to add any color right now. I'm just doing a line art is what I'm doing. And then I'm darkening it up. Even though I recognize right now that AI actually you know what I had happen the other day? I had like something that I erased and AI picked it up. So it's that good that it can pick up things that I erased. And I'm like, that is so weird that it picked up something that I had erased. And so in the past, it was kind of like dialed down so that it wouldn't recognize the things I wanted it to see. Um, but right now it picks, it's picking up. I knew it was good. I knew it existed, like the optical character recognition and things like that. I mean, it comes up so fast, there's no way a human could be doing that. And I guess that's the thing with the legacy TV. I'm sure they had some of that too. I'm sure they had a lot of it. They were probably test marketing it, and then they became very influential. And this is just my speculation. Hello, is it CJ Plays? Is it CJ or 6J? I can't I can't see very well from this angle. Or oh, 6 plays eat. Yeah, my astigmatism is acting up today really really bad. So an astigmatism is where you see things that are blurry. And so from this angle, see that, yeah, it looks like CJ. I can't really, yeah, CJ or 6J. I can't really tell very well. Um, okay, so we are drawing, and I'm hoping this gorilla. I totally love my gorilla. Now, I made the original gorilla in Canva, and so there had been a lot of people telling me that YouTube had progressed in the 18 months when I was away from YouTube. And I never was fully away from YouTube. I was always on YouTube. I had just stopped being a content creator. And so I was feeling like, my gosh, if I can't make it work for myself, and I really wanted to bad because I knew it could work before. I knew it worked before. But then on one hand, I'm thinking maybe it was a good thing it stopped working because I was giving all my money to my ex-husband. And and look what happened. He ended up with a house, a place to live, and I ended up homeless. And so I thought, maybe it's a good thing that it stopped working for me because then the money was just going to him. And I had even questioned myself. I had thought, well, gosh, he could be sending money to his kids and helping them with house payments off of money that I'm giving to him. Because there was sometimes that man was asking for like $4,000 a month. He was saying we had that many bills, and I really felt like he was full of crap. And I'd say, show me the bills. And he's like, well, we went on vacation, and I'm still paying on the vacation. And I'm like, yeah, but at the time of the vacation, you told me it was only $1,200. And he's like, yeah, but we had this, and all this other food. And I'm thinking, something wasn't quite right that one year when I was making all that money. And I know the house was paid off early. That's a fact. And so he was telling me, he's like, well, we're using your money to go on vacation. And I'm thinking, well, we went on a total of maybe 5 different vacations. And I told him, I said, there was over $90,000 that I'd made from YouTube that went to somewhere. We didn't go on no $90,000 worth of vacations. And he's like, "Oh, I don't need your piddly money." But he admitted that he took it. He's like, "I regret taking your money." That's the things that a narcissist does. Um, I always said he had the sentiment of a silverback ape, a chimpanzee monkey in the wild. And so that's the one looking in the mirror. So YouTube has, oh my gosh, they have these beautiful videos of monkeys who see themselves in the wild. And I always said that when you human beings are very much like the silverback, especially males who are aggressive and they're narcissists. And that's the category that I put my ex-husband in because of the fact that when he was confronted with truths in his own life, he just wanted to beat his chest and destroy everything in his path. He saw everyone as the enemy. And, so I called him the silverback monkey. And so the silverback monkey, when you look on YouTube, they had a whole bunch of videos. They were cool too. Someone had placed a mirror in the jungle. And so the females with the babies came around and they recognized them in the mirror. They recognized their self because they saw their own babies. So they weren't hostile to their own babies and the people that they liked. They weren't hostile at all. They just saw it as someone that they could approach, and they recognized their own babies. So they started to see their own reflection in the mirror. Now, the silverback, who is a loner, out there in the wild by itself, and he wants to own everything and possess everything. Now, he wouldn't go with his wives. So the silverback, he had a bunch of wives that he wanted to own. 1 million hearts. Is that a trillion hearts? Is that what a trillion hearts? I'm not sure. I can't count all the zeros. Tell me how many zeros you have there. And so I made this video of shaving because eventually, as he aged, my ex-husband, he wanted me to shave him, which was really weird. And I actually had told him that he looked like an ape. I said, "You look like a chimpanzee." Oh, you know what happened was he had bought those nice shirts that are kind of stretched nylon. And at one time I told him, I said, "Do you?" He must have took this to heart. I said, "Do you realize that you can see your hair through your shirt?" So I was getting little digs in at him. And so then he bought a razor to shave it off. He started shaving all of his chest hairs and everything. So he became conscious of it because I told him that you could see the hairs through his shirt. So he started shaving, and then he wanted everything shaved on his back too. And I'm like, "Why are you shaving everything? I don't care that you have hair." He's like, "Well, it's not." He says, "I just do it because I just want to look." He says it just makes me feel better. So he wouldn't admit that it was something, because I pointed out to him that you could see the hairs through his shirt. He had his big curly hairs, and he had a lot of hair on his back and his front chest. And out of the blue, I don't know if he was having a midlife crisis or what, but he was like over 60. He was well over 60, and he was started shaving his chest, and he wanted me to shave his back hairs. Now he wouldn't actually let me cut his actual hair, because he says white women don't know how to cut hair. They can't cut hair. Oh, thank you for subscribing. Yes, if you have any more friends, please subscribe. And so anyway, he said white women can't cut black men's hair, and up until COVID. And then his hair got so shaggy looking that he was begging me to cut his hair because he couldn't go to the salon. And actually, he said there was a black barber he liked to go to, and there was a white woman that the black barber had hired. And he told him specifically, he says, she was trained before she came here on how to cut hair. And so my husband, during COVID, before the complete shutdown, before this barber, what he said was if he had enough people in the area, he would come over to town and open his shop up. Otherwise, he closed the shop down because he didn't have enough interest. But he told him specifically, he says, she knows how to cut hair. So it was kind of like the guy knew, he knew how he might react. It was just like he had a little inkling on how he might react. And, so sometimes it takes another man with maybe a higher level of caliber of integrity to jump in on a silverback chimpanzee type that was like my husband. And so, so the man has to be relatable to the silverback chimpanzee in the jungle, in order for him to, to tame the beast, because there's like a hierarchy. I don't know if maybe he wasn't feeling needed or something. I don't know. Whatever it was, I couldn't give to him because he kept raising the bar. He just wanted me to be working, to bringing in money. He was dumping it into Wall Street for his own self, even though he was telling me it was for us. He for a long time at the beginning of the marriage, he would say, we won't need anything for the rest of our life. And then towards the end, when he decided that he got everything he needed, the house was paid for, he was like, I'm never going to have to buy another car again. I'm never going to have to do this. I'm never going to have to do that. So he started separating himself from me, towards the end, at the time of COVID when things were really bad. And, so he was, making it, during the BLM time frame and things like that, the Black Lives Matter and things like that, he was separating himself. And so he had been fully empowered and enabled to be really, really crummy and to take his anger out on me. And I just, I don't know, that was not productive to me. It was like it showed more about his character, that he wasn't genuine and authentic in why he went into the marriage to begin with. And, so for me, it was really disheartening, because it's like I went into the marriage, I had nothing and I knew I had nothing. And he exploited it, because he just wanted to treat me like I was nothing to him, and I was supposed to be working or doing something for him, that actually had come out. And that's what he was telling me. It's like, are women, when women get going, you no father, a father for what? My husband was treating me like a child. What do you mean no father for what? A father for, he was treating me like a child. My husband was treating me like a child. And so I think what you guys are asking for us is something, you're asking about things that are not realistic. You know, my father is in a nursing home. I think I've told you guys that before. My father is in a nursing home, and my mother had passed away a year ago. So, when you guys talk about people going places to live, what I'm hearing right now is that part of the country has had money coming in from somewhere, so they're taken care of, and someone has been paying for them, paying very high prices for them to get into houses, and so they're part of entertainment or something, and so they're paying for their houses, but then the rest of us don't have those same opportunities to get in on, to have a house and a place to live, and so then we have just been excluded. And, so I don't know how you reconcile that. I really don't. Father, write my name and Harshan. What'd you put on there? Harshan? What is a Harshan? I don't know what a Harshan is. I don't know. You want me to give the silverback monkey a name? Look, I know what we'll name it. This is what we're going to name the silverback monkey. You guys want to know what we're going to name it? This is what we're going to call him. Mike the monkey. We're going to call it Mike the monkey. Mike. Okay. I think this is a good name for retarded people. I didn't say that. Oh my gosh, God forgive me for saying that. Mike Monkey. K-E-Y. Okay, we're going to call it Mike the monkey. Isn't that good there? Mike the monkey, the silverback chimpanzee, who doesn't like to see his own reflection. There's a lot, I'm telling you, ladies and gents, if you're listening and paying attention to this, there is a lot of males who don't like to see their own reflection. If they see a reflection in a female, they have a meltdown that is, if a woman says things back to them, and it doesn't resonate or set well with them, they just want to lash out on her. And that can be a wife, that can just be an acquaintance. So anyway, that's pretty darn good. It almost looks like the one in my, I want to keep going and drawing something else in there. Oh, you know what we should put? Let's do this. Let's do something kind of silly. I was gonna, oh wait, do I need a tail? I think I need a tail. I'm gonna add something extra. I'm gonna add some extra things on the monkey that wasn't, I don't think monkeys have tails like this, do they? Some do, but I don't think gorillas do. But I'm gonna add a little tiny tail on the gorilla, like that. I don't think gorillas actually have tails, but we're gonna add this one on anyway. And you know what else I'm gonna do? I'm gonna add on a great big fuzzy, yeah, we can see that, good. I wanted to make sure we could see it in the camera view here. I'm going to add on a big fuzzy ball tail here onto the monkey, because he acts really bad. And okay, this is nice, nice, nice. We're going to have some fun with this video next, and I'm going to take a picture of it and upload it into the pictures and have a little fun with Mike the Monkey, and see what AI comes up for Mike the Monkey to do next. And so, okay, let me see here. Hello, you're now. Hello, you're now. Okay. You're nice. Okay, good. You're nice. Okay, so let's add, oh, oh, let's have a little more fun with Mike the Monkey here. This is what we're going to do. We're going to stick a heart on his butt, like this. A big heart. We're going to put a great big heart here on his butt, like that. And I should call it his backside. You know what we're going to put in here? We're going to put in here Mom. Okay, there. Well, now we got Mom inside of the heart on his butt. And Mike the Monkey, you know, because Mike the Monkey really doesn't care about women. He, you know, that's the silverback here for you. You know, and this is this element of that we're dealing with in real life in society. You know, those men who kind of want to force women into relationships and things just because they know that they're making money and the women are not making money. Now, I was talking about this yesterday in the video because there was a man I had listened to that was on educational programming I was watching. So cable TV right now has a little bit more educational programming than what they've been having in the past. And so it's historical stuff that I've been watching. And I know someone out there is probably going to say, oh, but you believe that propaganda stuff. Well, yes, some of it I do. If you call telling the truth propaganda, then I've been propagandized. And so what they're talking about is the women from Cuba and how they were oppressed. And I believe them. You know, absolutely I believe them. For decades we heard about Fidel Castro. He was a dictator. I mean, and I mean, we know what a dictator is. We're not stupid, but yet this element of what we've got running our government right now is consistently wanting to tell us that we're wrong about what we've been taught and what we believe related to what a dictator is. Now, what I've always said is when you have the CEO of a business, be that a very tiny business of two people, it's a husband and wife, they might be a CEO, but they're a dictator because they dictate the money and the bills and things like that. And up to that billionaire who has billions and billions of dollars, they dictate things. And even our Congress dictates things, you know. Now, hopefully our Congress, I think Congress is, can be more fair because of the fact that you have to put in budgetary constraints. And so I don't know, but they're not doing a very good job tackling with the private sector. I've always said you can just cut all the money off from the private sector and not give them anything, and especially when they're using insiders of like Congress. Every single congressperson is an insider to the future of our country because they hold the purse strings and the power of their private meetings and purse strings to where money could be going as an investment out into the private sector next. Well, that becomes insider trading. You know, so if you just have that information and you tell someone in the private sector, and be that this, it's the same thing with the construction. And so then that means that Congress and the government construction companies, then in turn, if they're just hiking the prices up year over year, and they're causing inflation. They're a big part of the problem. And I don't have any control over that. And at the same time, they're also putting the airline business out of business. They're putting all business out of business. Just a few small amount of people inside of the government Um, so I don't know what you guys are talking about. I have no idea what you're talking about. Um, okay, so we've got, you guys said we needed to give him a name. Brother, sorry, what, I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea what you're talking about. Okay, so, okay, let me add some more elements onto my razor so it kind of, let's do this. Let's add a little bit more lines on the razor and make it a little bit different. We'll make it look a little more rounded here. We'll just add some little elements in here. We could, you know what I'm seeing right here maybe is I'm seeing a little opportunity here for a Zentangle. Um, I have to do this. I heard no, I really don't have to, but I just want to do this because it looks like it would be fun. Okay. We got to get creepy little eye in there. Okay. That looks pretty good, so that's pretty darn good. So now we're going to see what happens next when I take a picture of this. Okay, let's add some more Zentangles on our razor Zentangles. So every open space, there's an opportunity for a little bit of a Zentangle going on there. And some lines and things like that. So we had to name our Mike the monkey, even though he's a silverback gorilla. Maybe we should add that in there, silverback gorilla, because I really, really like the silverback gorilla videos. They haven't come up in such a long time either. And for everything that has been coming, now if I looked them up on YouTube, I'm sure I could get them to come up. They were just surfacing for some reason, and I think because I was saying silverback monkey so much, which they're gorillas, and there's a guy on YouTube, and he literally says that we are directly related to monkeys and chimpanzees. That's what he says. We're directly related, because they get up and walk around. I've always wondered, when I look at them, I feel bad for monkeys on display because of the fact it's like I often think they probably think like humans, and it's just that they can't express themselves in the same way. You especially being inside of a zoo, and then imagine if they think the same way that humans think. But yet the past in historical in the past has them thinking like they're less than. But what if they have feelings and they feel shame? I found that, having a dog, I found that I have found that with that is dogs know things. I mean, they actually communicate and they relay things to you. And some of these sanctuary farms that I've watched too, they say their animals, I believe them, they say their animals tell on another animal when one of them is in distress and it needs help, and they go seek out the owner to tell them that something is wrong. And um, okay, so I'm just making the lines a little bit thicker. I don't really have to do that, but I just am. Let's make the eyeball a little bit larger too, like that. That's pretty cool. So we put on, I like that razor. That's pretty cool looking there. At first I wasn't liking it, but now when I see it through the camera, I kind of like it. It gives it a 3D look, that magic eye. Do you guys remember the magic eye from back in the day? And so this was from like the 1990s time frame. They had what they called a magic eye, and you could buy a book. It was called The Magic Eye. And so the book itself, it had drawings, and so you kind of had to cross your eyes to look at it with a three-dimensional kind of a look, and then you could see other images inside of it. And so I've actually started noticing that, like with the internet, you can see things 3D without glasses. You know, it's the same principle. And then they started putting the magic eye on the internet too. And so that was before we had videos. Okay, let's make the silverback. Let's add something that just makes him not as naughty as what we should view them as. How about sassy silverback? That's probably what I should have named it, was Sassy the Silverback. S-A-S Sassy Silverback. I like my block lettering too. Block lettering is kind of fun, and I call this block lettering because I'm just putting straight lines on it instead of curves. So it's not the full block related to where you have the 3D, but it's just well, yeah, this one has a little curve and this one has a little curve, but you know, most of them, that I'm just calling it block, you know, because it's like, well, you remember the alphabet on the little blocks when we were kids and we got to play with the little blocks and we lined them up, the alphabet, and we had a bunch of they were called building blocks, and that's where you get Bob the Builder. Bob the Builder? And so I'm taking my drawing here, and it impressively looks a lot like the drawing that I did from the screen. I am shocked at how much I made it look like the drawing I did from the screen of my video, which was clip art. And I am just like floored here. There are some differences, though. I mean, it's not perfectly identical the same. But, I mean, there is a lot of similarities. Now, in the future, I might add some color to it. But, you know, with clip art and things like that, you know, I mean, this is something I did, and I'm looking at something else. And so, you know, it's just kind of the same principle. If I look out the window and look at something else and draw something from outside, you know, you can't, what's happening, this is how I explain copyright. So I'm looking at something outside, it goes into my brain, and then I created something. And I kind of feel the same way when I'm sitting here drawing. I'm looking at my own video. I'm looking at something on the computer screen. I'm looking at my own video. So I have taken something and I've put it into my own brain. My brain has processed it. Now it's put it out onto the piece of paper. So I've created my own original artwork because I put it into my brain. I've been on here for 34 minutes now drawing this and talking about it at the same time. And I added a razor in. I added in an additional element. I added in a big fuzzy tail that looks like a lion. I put a heart tattoo on its butt that says Mom, because we want to tackle the big, nasty, mean-spirited silverback chimpanzee monkey who's a jerk. The narcissist jerk. Oh, we should add that on there too. Should we call it a narcissist? Oh, you know what else this monkey needs? You know what else we're going to put on here? We got to do this. This is this kind of monkey. We're going to do this. The dollar sign. Yep, this is that kind of monkey. Work, 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 work. Okay, so we added another tattoo on here. Okay, so let's do this. Uh oh, you know what else? We need another tattoo on the monkey. Okay, we're gonna put a star up here on the monkey. There. Oh my goodness, we got a star up there on the monkey. How nice. Oh monkey, you got a star up there on your face. You got a star up there. You got a mom tattoo on your butt because that's one of those kids' favorite things on the internet to say is that I don't know why they're telling everybody that they were with their mom last night. So you've got 13, 14-year-old boys telling everybody on the internet that they were with their mom last night, and it's like, "Oh, okay. Yeah, are you dead? My mom is dead. I hope you had a good time at the cremation joint, because she's not living anymore." So, um I guess they think that's supposed to hurt us in some way, saying that they were with, and but at the same time I'm flattered, that uh it's disgusting to think about it. It's like, okay, you're 13 years old and you're talking about that you were doing the doodly doodly with my mom. That's gross, actually, when you think about it. And um I don't want to hear about it. Even if that did happen, I don't want to hear about it. You need to call the police, so, and I know they're just trying to get a rise out of people. I think that's all they're trying to do, because it's that, well, when I was a kid, the boys would say, your mother did push-ups in the strawberry patch. So they were doing kind of harmless things like that. They weren't talking about, I don't know, maybe that's stuff men talk about, that they did something with someone's mom, but they'd have to be around a man who's saying that to them in order to hear that all the time and then just repeat it at that young age. It's like, so they're around somebody who is saying it all the time for them to just be repeating that on the internet. And it's like, why would you do that? I mean, do you want your mom to be treated as poorly as what you're treating people on the internet? And that's what you're doing, so um, there. Okay, so we got some good tattoos going on here on Sassy Silverback Mike the Monkey here. So you know what we're doing? What's that word? Oh, we are demasculating Mike the Monkey. That's what we're doing here. That's their favorite word they like to use, is demasculating. And so that's what we're doing right here, is they're saying that women, or well, no, I don't think they blamed women. I think they blamed society. The internet. The internet is demasculating men. They blamed the internet for that. I think it's the R's that are doing that. I think that's out of politics, and the R's are possibly doing that. I'm not sure. But anyway, this is a good example of demasculating a male monkey, with what I'm doing right here. If I had time, I would probably, if I could put on a grass skirt and some coconuts on the front, I would probably do that too, and demasculate the silverback monkey even further. That's what I would do. But I think this is good right here, because I can still, my little advertisement and video is, once I get it put into the other format, then can still sell a razor. I mean, that's all this is about, is selling a razor. And, so I can have a razor come up on my channel. If I get monetized again one day, then I can sell razors, right? Because everybody likes razors from time to time. There's different needs, and that's something, even though they're very expensive right now. Very, very expensive. And so that's the object of it. But in the meantime, a lot of people are creating content, and they don't have any idea why they're creating content. So you kind of have to think of yourself as an individual advertising agency. What exactly are you advertising? What are you trying to sell? I mean, that's what I asked myself. So I know at one time they had a phone called a razor, didn't they? So I'm taking things that are popular and, making, yeah, I mean, yeah, tattoos is a service. People like tattoos. I never objected to people having tattoos. Didn't bother me. Now, I'm still confused. How do we sell church though? Church is supposed to be nonprofit, and it's just something. It's a service that they ask you for money. And so I'm not clear on the message with church. Church is, I would put it more in education. That's where I would place church. And but at the same time, it just I don't know where church goes, because yeah, songs, I mean, it can gravitate over into pop culture and music. But then that becomes commercial. And so with the internet being a commercial space, church is supposed to be nonprofit. So that has me questioning, why is church on the internet to begin with? Why is church on the internet? It's commercial. They're supposed to be nonprofit, but yet they're asking for money. And, so I don't know. I just find it confusing, but I think I'm done right now. And this is what I have made here. Oh, let me see here. Okay. This is what I have made here uh with my live stream. This is what we have done. Okay.